don't know why he keeps doing that now. The thing's really bugging me. Hey, what's up, everybody? It is RAF ESPARZA, and apparently the theme song now plays twice on this thing. We're going to figure this out with Ecamm. I hope you're having a great day. This is another installment of the Bullpen, a joint venture between Inside BJJ and the Grappling Hour. And yes, coming to you live out of the beautiful, beautiful, beautiful studio, Southern California. It's good to be rested. Did a show with the Kings yesterday after doing a full day of work over at the PGF. Your boy is a little tired, but we have ourselves some water, a little bit of the sparkling water to get us re-energized. Also re-energized, my good friend Tim Freeman. Tim, how are you doing today, sir?
RAF ESPARZA, I'm doing great, man, and I can't imagine the strain that you're under having to slip in and slip out of a secret location every week under the cover of disguise and darkness. It's stressful. Basically, you have the equivalent of the highest jiu-jitsu security clearance you could get, and it comes with a lot. So I think you earn the rest. You put the additional work in with the Kings. So it's good to see you here, my man.
It was good. It was nice to break bread with them a little bit. And we got some cool answers out from those boys. And it was very interesting, Tim. Before we get to business as usual, because I came from a barbecue, I have to ask, let's say I am invited, never have been, but I'm invited to a Freeman cookout. What is on the menu at the Freeman household if I were to come to a barbecue at your house, sir?
I got you covered. Here's what we're doing. I am going to Costco and I'm getting the chub pack of the good steaks. I'm throwing them out on the counter probably about an hour before I'm going to cook them, just to let them, come to a closer to room temperature. I'm going to throw the Traeger beef rub seasoning on it, and I'm going to throw them on the grill. I'm going to get those babies to like just barely medium rare, and then I'm going to pull them off. While I'm doing that, I'm boiling up a big pot of pasta because I've been cooking meat sauce all morning. We're always going steak and pasta at this house when we have a barbecue. It's the only way to do it. We don't do macaroni salad. We don't do potato salad. We don't do pimento cheese just because we live in the South. We do steak and grandma's spaghetti. That's how we roll.
You're not too dissimilar from my grandma, who, even when we had tamales, would make spaghetti and would be up at like 4 a.m. cooking the sauce. And I just remembered thinking, like, Grandma, we have tamales. We don't need spaghetti. And it was always met with stone silence. And I go, okay, well, Grandma spaghetti it is. And I later was told my recollection was 100% right on, because people would go, yeah, why did we do that? And somebody just looked over and goes, we tried telling Grandma no, and it didn't work.
Didn't work, man.
It didn't work. Well, Timothy, go ahead.
Spaghetti sauce is basically the Italians' version of mole. That's what it is. Like, you got to put a bunch of stuff in it. You got to cook it for hours and hours, and it's a big deal if you mess it up.
Absolutely. Except, they don't show enough Goodfellas-esque Mexicans creating tamales in the prison system. I really think we got to work on that. Mr. Martin Scorsese, or the Mexican equivalent, we need one of those. I want to see the masa being made inside of prison, because that would probably still be pretty good.
Prison mole. Oh, man. That's like a bunch of crushed up Fritos and some, I don't know. What is that sauce?
Tapatio?
Tapatio, yeah, and crunched up Fritos. That's prison mole, because that's all you can get, right?
Hey, but in Goodfellas, they had deliveries made to them.
That's true.
And literally was slicing the onion. So I have Paul Sorvino in my head, Thin Life, just going down, and that shot stays with me, dude.
Yes, I agree.
Tim, there's some business we have to get to here in a second, but I've been traveling back and forth. And you, in your lower third before, had some news for us. Are we at liberty to describe what that news is?
Yeah, in my lower third before. What's my lower third? What was that? I forgot
just
what week
said
it was.
News that literally said what was on there. Do you not read your lower thirds?
No, dude, I I didn't read. I read the previous third. I thought I had the third that said I don't know what week it is.
No, you did, but I changed that because we've done that
Oh,
twice.
you changed it.
Yes, we've done that twice and
Oh,
accidentally.
man.
And it was when your graphics were not great. They looked like the unfinished The Mummy Returns graphics. So we had to make do very quickly.
Give me a peek at my lower third, then I need a clue. Now it's like a game.
Tim, I'm telling you, literally, it just said, has news for us. That's it.
Oh, yeah. So I do got news. So I'm going to be out next week live with you, Raf, week 5 at the PGF for the team championships, which is actually a really great day to be there. I was planning on coming out during the playoffs. I'm still going to be there playoff week, but I got the opportunity to head out there in week 5. You might hear me on the commentary. I'm going to have to be on my best behavior just because, I'm going to be at the adult table. And so I got to kind of watch my P's and Q's a little bit better, but I could pop off, man. You never know. You know what I mean?
I have to throw some practice at you to make sure you're ready for it. Yes. So I'm going to start speaking like Jason Anik here pretty soon to get you ready. I'll be like, hold on. That has to be one of the best finishes I've ever seen. Tim, would you say that was a Stockton slap?
Jane, you ignorant slut.
Good. That'll get him ready. Somebody asked, the Stockton 209ers are real.
Oh, that'd be a great team. That would be great news. But yeah, can you imagine that team? We would just get Rayfield immediately. Like, just come on our team.
Well, I believe that segues nicely into talking about the PGF. This week was week 4. It was an interesting week. A lot happened on television, I'm sure, and I'm sure some of you have seen some of the coverage that has happened from it. But I have a theory, but I want to get Tim's reaction to some of the biggest news first. And then I'm going to share my theory with you guys, and I want to see if you feel the same way. But Tim, what was your general feelings from PGF week number 4?
Well, I got to say, being on the outside, just kind of watching the finished product, and I say this every week, it's a lot of fun to watch. They're like, overall, it's a very, very nice job. And I feel like the athletes, and I know that, there's going to be a glaring example of the opposite of this. But for the most part, the athletes have been doing a pretty decent job of interacting with the Dream in their post-fight, kind of interviews, just kind of being a little bit more available, a little bit more professional. I feel like at least that's what's coming across to the viewer at home. Now, behind the scenes, it could be, held together with duct tape and chicken wire, but sitting at home, it comes across, it plays very well. Competitively, the matches have been great. The Kings are just like, they are becoming the New York Yankees of the PGF, which is pretty neat to watch. And at the same time, the Twisters are, and probably I shouldn't say this, I'm kind of like the Twisters are kind of becoming my favorite team just for right now. But it's been interesting to see the Phenoms and see some of the pressure. I think that we thought the Wolverines had the pressure, but I really think it's the Phenoms because they were trying hard to stay competitive. But overall, man, we saw Elijah Carlson hit his 100th sub in the PGF, which is a huge accomplishment. Congrats to him. He got a heel hook. Jaden Groner had a surge. Everybody looked good. Nothing really changed dramatically, though, in terms of the team complexion. But you tell me, because it did seem like there was some tension. There were some things going on. And I'd be interested because you can't feel the energy in the room. I'd like to hear from somebody who was in the room and can kind of feel what those moments were like.
Thank you, Tim. Okay. Here's the theory I was previewing a little bit earlier. Remember when we used to do this all in a week? Remember those days? Remember how we would always talk about the different days? Like day 1, everybody's in a good mood. Day 2, they're getting serious because now they've felt the competition. Day 3, kind of an injury day. Day 4, Eek. Somehow, when we said this is going to become a 5-6 week venture for a bunch of people, they knew it was going to be long, but even though they have the time to heal most of their injuries, not all, they get at least a week to kind of recover from week to week for 3 games of action. The psychosis is bigger. Hear me out. Before, you would see on day 4, people were like, dude, let's get this over with. Let's do this. They really put themselves through a physical grind. This one still has the physical grind spaced out, but the mental grind is way more intense. What you're seeing now is 4.5 weeks, 5 weeks of these guys not being with their friends, their families, all in the same Airbnb. So things aren't perfect, but they are changing. So what you see from our athletes is, hey, yeah, they might physically be in better shape, but mentally, the strain of being away that long, it really does start to add up. And that was the manifestation of Thursday. Now, that doesn't mean you can't have good moments or that you aren't doing incredible things on the field. But that evening, the biggest news had to be Derek Rayfield versus the shot clock, specifically the people running the shot clock. And it was very tense. And what's wonderful about Derek is he is incredibly kind. He's very funny. He's very loose. But when the Rodman side comes out, we don't know what's going to happen. And then, like a winter soldier that gets turned off, back to normal. So it is a little strange. And for those of us reporting there, you know, sometimes you're just hoping you're not going to catch a stray. But it wasn't just Derek. I think tensions are at a high. Every team, every individual has a different narrative going on. And even those who are doing well, kind of every once in a while, have a nervousness of, I'm not afforded a for sure spot in this. So let me go through this. It says, if you can't handle 1 month away from your family, but still in the USA, then check yourself into a psych ward. Talk about a total puss.
Oh, snap.
Now,
dang. Wow.
JB Evolve, let's be kind. Some of these guys have wives, kids. Some of them are single. But I really do think it's the additional pressure of having to perform as a team while all living in the same house together. You do give up a lot of autonomy there. You give up the ability to have time to yourself. So even when I went to go see the Kings yesterday, you know, I didn't want to invade too long. I wanted to do my interview, and I was going into their home, and they were very kind to invite me in. But kind of as we were getting to the end of the interview, I was like, I think I should go because this is very kind of them. And that was a relaxing day for them. So it was good to hang out with them. But I promise you, it's not just one isolated case. And Derek lives in Vegas, so he has the ability to kind of go and stay at his own place. So it's not even the pressure of doing that. It's just that's how high the tensions were. And a lot of it, as we've mentioned in the past, was maybe perhaps some valid criticism about the shot clock inconsistencies. But I do propose this additional thought and question. Are you ever really going to like the shot clock person? Think about it. Their job is to enforce a rule. And sometimes that rule is in your favor and sometimes not. And it's just like in the NFL. Who's rooting for the refs? Nobody. They become a source of who we ridicule and who we don't like. And what ends up happening is if you get multiple people from different teams saying the same thing, it does become a lot more of an awkward conversation. So I hear that part. I think what you saw Thursday was the manifestation of a lot of buildup. So the real key now is going to be, what are they going to say to the commissioner? Because I think disputes can still happen. And BMAC knows the rules pretty proficiently. I just wonder if there's still a little bit of tension and if people feel relieved. My hope is people feel it's fair. And knowing BMAC for as long as I have, I think he is going to play it as fair as possible. So there is that. But let me go ahead and put this out here. It says, that's coming from a USMC combat vet. Well, thank you for your service, first. And it says, military members do it all the time, but 1 year deployments overseas. Shaking my head. I do feel it is different apples to oranges here. I also argue you might make more money than...
Grappling's way harder than the military.
Oh, God, Tim, I'm glad you weren't on screen for that one. It says the shot clock has been whacked. Glad BMAC is going to take it over next week. I think what you've been finding is the shot clock is not always going to be appreciated, and that some people may have fair gripes, but also some of the ways that they do address it are downright childish. And in certain organizations, you're going to get a fine, if not worse, not only from your own organization, but from the actual embodiment like the NBA or the NFL. You'll get fines, you'll get things thrown at you. So it's not even that far off. And it said, glad Tim said it. Thank you.
Yeah,
but nonetheless, those were some initial thoughts from this week, just based off of the overall sentiment that was going on there. And yeah, that was the general feeling from inside of the room. And I have to tell you, I think part of that now is coming down to an additional stress of who's going to win this thing. Looks like the Kings have a very good lead, but anything can change. So there is that. And the second question is, for a lot of these guys, now they're starting to wonder who is going to make the playoffs. So Tim, I actually I'm going to put you back on screen here, just verbally tell you, because we don't have a fancy graphics team. And if we did, we're not trying to do shitty AI graphics all the time. We're trying to spare you guys that. But from my own numbers, here are the people who I feel are locked. Okay. Jet Thompson on my scorecard has 58 points. Kevin Beering has 40 points. Elijah Carlton tied with Austin at 38 apiece. Chewy at 30. I think the first four are locked. Chewy, secure. Now these are the people who are likely in the playoffs. You have Travis Haven, Sean Melanson, and Jaden Groner. As it stands right now, that would be your top 8 going into the playoffs. Now our opening question that we put up to everybody is, who could potentially sneak in there? And here are the next outs, or as they like to be referred to as on the bubble. And playfully, off air, when we said bubble, Derek Rayfield just goes, I like bubbles. And you think, how is that dude going up and yelling and telling someone to go F off? The same person, nonetheless. Here are your people on the bubble. Possibilities include Cam Hurd with 15 points, Jake Strauss with 14, Derek Rayfield with 13, Jared Funfetti, Fakida, if you would, 11, and Josh Squires and Noah McCauley tied for 10. So those people are in position to potentially sneak in. Now, mind you, Jaden at 8th is holding it with 19 points. So it's close. Do you have any predictions based off of this information now of either who's going to maintain or who could potentially sneak in next week?
Do we know if all those guys are healthy and in the lineup next week? Is there anyone on the bubble that we know of that we can even talk about that may or may not be in?
As I am hearing it on the streets, I do believe we will have a pretty close to original series of lineups next week. This week, the Wolverines were supposed to go back to their original lineup of having Brett Moyer as well. But Brett, from what I heard, was unfortunately sick. He looked like a player at the World Series of Poker with his sunglasses and Unabomber hoodie. So he was off to the side. He was sick. That was a surprise. But Josh Squires ended up doing well for the team that night. So to the best of my knowledge, we're going to see a lot of folks. A big question mark is I don't know if TV Dinner, Anthony Parker Salisbury, is going to be back in the original lineup. That's a question mark. And some real big questions there because this is really the last week. So somebody asked here, it said, how many more weeks of PGF are there this season? So the season ends next week. Next Wednesday is the last regular season. And then the top 8 scorers have the playoffs immediately the week after on the Wednesday. So really it's just 2 weeks left of all PGF, but 1 week for the regular season. But go on, Tim.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of a toss-up when you get to 8th place. I think Melanson's going to hang on. I think, Haven and Magana have a match against each other. They might trade places in the lineup, and, they might swap from 5 to 6. If Cockle's healthy and in, I think he has a chance to.
Unfortunately,
jump into
Cockle
there.
is out. I wanted to make sure about that. I'm so sorry. I know we talked about it off air, but I did want to remind everybody. Unfortunately, Andrew Cockle did sustain an injury last week in regular play. I think the initial word was that he's going to take some time to recuperate. That's the end of his 2026 season. I'm hoping the injury gets him back onto the mat sooner than later. And Cockle was having a great run. It's unfortunate. He was essentially next out originally. So that is also going to have a important reaction. I thought I saw, I think it was Adam Frank's name back in there. So I'm not sure if he's in this season to replace. That is a big question mark for whoever's going up against, originally scheduled to go up against Cockle. So somebody like an Austin, it might be a different day for him, or somebody like that who was supposed to go up against Andrew on that day.
Right. Real quick note, somebody asked, so is everybody competing to enter the playoffs?
B team. Let's get you up to speed here, because B team was like, I don't understand all the points. Our teams competing for the most points. Okay, here's how it is. Team points, individual points, team points. We've addressed the fact that the Kings are ahead. And let me just get you some unofficial scorecard points here. The Kings currently have 124 points by my count. I might be off. I might be on. Twisters at 98, Phenoms at 64, and Wolverines at 51, which, by the way, is some progress. So that is pretty good. Yeah, and the Wolverines, the real story now is, will the Wolverines overtake the Phenoms? Now, that's a question I'd like to see with a surging Jaden Groner. So that's the teams. That's what will be settled this Wednesday. And those are the last time for all the 20 athletes to perform that day. Then the following week, that's the individual points we were just talking about right now, that we were wondering who will make it on the bubble. So that is an interesting question mark of your top 8 individuals go to the playoffs. And there was another question here that says from JB Evolve 2026. How many athletes back out and don't take part in the playoffs? This has happened before in the past. Yes, you can almost guarantee, although I don't know, these guys might want to see it through. There's usually one that doesn't make it in. Some years there's been a couple, maybe even 3 that didn't take place in it for whatever reason. So there is that. But yes, thanks. I just started watching. That's what we're here for. Appreciate that. And then JB Evolve said, I think it happened by Americana lock. Yeah, Jake snuck one in, kind of like a quick little shotgun straight arm bar in there. We had gotten word that Andrew was playing off of a bum arm to begin with. But if you know anything about Andrew, that dude won't quit at all. Like I was pretty sure I saw him trying to pop the elbow back in. And, just we want to make sure he's good. So there is that. And yes, props to the Wolverines for the bounce back. But before we close out on that, Tim, any last thoughts on the PGF as it stands before we see it live together this Wednesday?
Well, I mean, look, as far as the bubble goes, I think Groner's got it kind of locked in. It's his to lose. Cam's going to have to come strong, and Jaden's going to have a really bad night, which, it could happen. But outside of that, with Cockle being out, I don't foresee anybody else banging out there in a big way. Maybe somebody pulls 3 subs off and gets 18 points and jumps in. It could happen, but I don't think so. You know what? I thought this was a great season. I also thought it was great that they had a big announcement. They announced the St. Louis Outlaws joining the PGF, and they hinted that they're looking to fill up at least to 8 teams here, which I think really makes a season 10 prospect really juicy with 8 teams. I mean, now we're talking about like some serious heat there. So it's really cool to see this out of the PGF.
Agreed. We're going to move topics here so that we can advance this board. But just so you're aware, yes, we did see this. We had to wait for today's show to actually comment on it. $10 million? Craig Jones, are you out of your mind? Somebody said, where are you getting this money from? And so many questions. 8 individuals. Apparently it's CJI 2.0. Initial thoughts, Tim.
Yeah, so for some reason I thought they were calling this CJI 2.5, which is a very interesting
2.5. My apologies. Thank you.
Approach to it. Why not just call it 3? Who knows? I'm sure he's got some reason. So I came across this article. It's like Craig Jones to give $10 million, and I thought, oh, this is a skit, or it's a typo. But indeed, it's not. 8 people, one night, $10 million on the line. No weight classes, no dates, no locations confirmed yet. The big question is, if you are in the UFC right now, BJJ, and you have an exclusive contract and you can't go compete for $10 million, what's going through your mind at this moment? Are you feeling good? Or are you feeling like, damn, I wish I would have had some more options? The other thing that I thought was interesting is Craig trolled a little bit, but he said, like, maybe I should just do this on the same day that they're doing ADCC in Poland. And it's like, you talk about, like, you really want to put your foot onto the neck of ADCC. That's the way to do it, RAF. But also, I like that he's ratcheting up the tension. He's actually raising the stakes, pushing the button on the UFC. It'll be really interesting to see how they respond and what their athletes' response will be to it, especially the ones under exclusive contract.
Well, you just mentioned the UFC. Are the good folks over at Kingsway allowed to compete in that tournament? Because Gordon very famously is called Craig Crooked Craig, but Craig has already given out $4.5 million to athletes. If Craig does this additional $10 million, that would be the investment over the investment, the $8 to $12 million that Dana White said that the UFC was going to put into jiu-jitsu. So really, the main question here is, who are the 8? And as somebody here, of course, JB Evolve, asking a question that we clearly don't have the answers to right now, sir. I know we look like we're informed. We are not. We would have the information for you if it was released. The unfortunate part is this is all teases, and it's doing what it needs to do, which is getting everybody talking about $10 million. The real key to us, though, is, how is that going to break down? And the women have been clamoring for a spot on CJI in a major way. If that $10 million only goes to men, you might see some traction between Fiona Davies saying that's not what it was billed as, maybe. I don't know that it completely shuts the door, but I can say this. We can be very excited about somebody potentially winning $10 million or multiple people winning a lot of money that totals up to $10 million. It's a statement, and it is part of the reason why Craig seems to be doing it as a trolling job, but there's a lot of talk about what this is. If this were to be the last one, it would make a very far-reaching amount of money that will take the rest of jiu-jitsu years to equal in payouts. So we'll see, and we will definitely be interested in this. The question we got is, I wonder how Nicky Rod feels. He didn't just sign, or didn't he just sign for UFC BJJ, or that was a one-fight deal? That was a one-match deal. And it says, I bet nobody at Kingsway even wants to do it. I don't know about that, bro.
There's 10 million reasons why they might. I'm just saying.
Bet there might be some philosophical talks with John Danaher on the side of those mats for $10 million.
Yeah. How does money work?
And it says, yeah, imagine he does a woman-only tourney. That would be great. That would be amazing. And that would definitely change things. And women have had some great matches. It's just, it is what it is, man. We're all peaking with interest to see what this is going to be. And I do wish them well because they have definitely advanced it forward. And they have been the standard showcase that other organizations haven't quite been yet. So there is that. Let's move the board a little bit more. What is Swipe Right all about? Well, let's put it this way. Did you know that you can potentially sue somebody for claiming you're on steroids? Didn't know that. But Nicholas Marigali made that and other headlines this week. But Tim, what is this in particular with Nicholas Marigali finding love with UFC BJJ?
Well, I like to do weird stuff when I make the images. Yeah, basically, it's my personal indulgence for the show. Marigali recently had an interview, and he came out and said, hey, look, he said a few things. He said, one, I'm not interested in ADCC. Like, I have zero desire to go there. He called Poland the end of the world. He also said that John Danaher is the greatest coach in history, even more incredible than Elio Gracie. He went on to say that Galval has sued Marigali 4 separate times over PED accusations. He says there's not enough money in the world to make him compete against Mika. So I think that idea for that super fight is dead. Then he said that he's going to be committed to UFC BJJ, right? He's got a contract with them. He's riding with the UFC. I think ADCC being in Poland this year, it's just like a non-starter for most of the athletes. Of course, a lot are going to go. I'm not trying to throw shade on it, but really it was coming from getting beat up pretty bad in 2024 to like not really making a very good stand in 2026, in my personal opinion. And Marigali just kind of confirms that, like, hey, this is not even on the radar. He criticized the city that it's in. He said it's not even Warsaw. It's 3 hours away. Marigali is apparently a very worldly man, a very learned man. He needs to be in a metropolitan city at all times. So I think it's interesting that he was sued by Mika. I'm not sure where those lawsuits went, how those lawsuits broke down, if they're even in court. Anybody can sue anybody. It doesn't mean that it's going to actually turn into anything, but they could have brought it to bullpen court, RAF, and we could have settled it once and for all. But instead, these guys want to go waste their money with lawyers that really don't know jiu-jitsu law. But yeah, so Marigali found a love connection with the UFC. I wonder how he feels about that $10 million pot now.
I really want you to answer this question so I can take it off so it doesn't get associated with you, Tim.
What does it say? PED accusation. Performance enhancing drugs. That's the accusation, my friend.
Also, just saying, somebody with the sign-on name B Team throwing that one around right now would just seem a culprit of unnecessary stature. So
yeah, listen, play the next. Show us next comment.
Oh my goodness,
it's even better.
God.
From B Team. Mika, not Andre. My bad. That was a beautiful mistake, my friend. Thank you.
Good Lord. Listen, the way that I wanted you to answer that, because I threw it up there being like, maybe they'll read it. And I go, I don't want that to be associated with Tim for too long. I see this note. It says big weight difference between Nick and Mika. Yeah, but it'd still be good. And he's, nope, not doing that joke, Bryce. And it says, maybe don't put that on the screen. You sent it. Don't tell me what to not put on there when you sent it. These are your questions. It'd be like, oh, I wrote a question, but don't put this one up, bro.
Yeah.
Don't share this with the people. That's what the show does. That's what we do here. All right. Let's move down. Here's just what I want to say about that for Nicholas Marigali. Calling ADCC, the hosting site, a trash place to be, that's never stopped us before. And is it really the worst place to be? Probably not. It's just not here in the United States. And granted, I get that Marigali is now on the train of where I'm at is better than where I've been. So really, all of these guys are leading campaigns into what is best for them. So allow them to do that. But where did they make their name? It is a very conflated set of arguments from guys who have done well with ADCC now being like, is it dead? Does this shit suck? And it's like, it's the same thing. Maybe you just got older and now you see there are more opportunities. Whereas before, that was kind of it. And I'm very intrigued to see what the interest for ADCC is going to become trials out here, which I'm not going to even be at. I'm going to be at WrestleMania. So good luck, nerds. Let's go to our next one. Nice. Tim, you tell me what is going on at RAF 7. I think there is a huge rematch that is happening. You are more plugged into the wrestling world, but tell me what we can expect from this upcoming event.
A few things, man. RAF 7 takes place tomorrow in Tampa, Florida. Beautiful Tampa. Very, very beautiful. We got Armin Sarukian is going back up against Giorgio Paulus. This is the rematch, right? They just competed in RAF 6, got into a big blowout. And Paulus, we talked about him last week. Giorgio's got the $1,000 takedown challenge. Sarukian did not like how aggressive Giorgio was in the match, and basically they came to blows. The place erupted. They are going to have a rematch. That's going to be dope. There's also a cruiserweight fight on the line. Kyle Dake takes on Parker McKyson. But the other match that I really want to talk about that I know is two of our favorite people, Colby Covington is taking on Dylan Dennis. It's RAF is basically, this event is Return of the Hills, the Trolls. It's basically a troll reunion. They're getting all the beef in one event. I expect it to pop off. Dennis gets in fights everywhere he goes, except for the actual fight that he's being paid to do. So look for something to pop off there. There's also some other decent names on there. Bo Bassett's going up against, Vladimir Chichingashvili. He's a Georgian Olympian champ coming out of retirement. He hasn't competed for 4 years, but Nolf is on the card. He's also, a wrestler that crossed over into jiu-jitsu. So I expect great things. They're doing a great promotion. They got a lot of money behind their event. They got a TV contract. A lot of stuff is kind of going back and forth on it, but man, RAF is continuing to get people to watch. So I'm looking forward to seeing it. I just think something's going to happen, and we're going to get to talk about it next week.
Like JB Evolve positing that maybe Dylan Dennis isn't even going to show up.
He'll show up. He shows up. He does not going to miss the views and the likes and the reels. He's coming.
Dude, those two cut a promo, and it was Colby Covington and him going back and forth saying, well, you need to tune in and watch RAF. And I go, nah, I'm good. Show me other stuff. I don't need to see that. And it says, Dylan Dennis, what happened with him going again against Craig, or was that just fake? Well, apparently it's still kind of real. You guys have to understand. None of this stuff is set in stone at any given time when it's Dylan Dennis or Craig Jones's ability to troll. The difference for Craig Jones is he's actually provided events. And while Dylan Dennis does show up, he's also not showing up at times. So yeah, I get that part. It's just, we will tell you as soon as we know. We are a little bit short on Timothy J. Freeman time, so I do want to
we're good. We could bang it.
We're good?
Yeah, let's bang it.
Beautiful. Then let's get to this, because I for sure don't want to talk about it. This is two individuals who shouldn't be hosting anything coming together to make the worst thing possible. Gordon Ryan is teaming up with Brandon Schaub. And if that sentence gets you excited, you don't want to hear from me anymore. Tim, what the hell is this travesty to waste film and or footage or memory? I turn to you.
Well, I gotta hand it to my favorite TV distribution content platform, Tubi. They're killing it. They have got a new show signed with Brendan Schaub and Gordon Ryan. It's called Gearheads Gone Wild. They talk about cars, but honestly, this is Gearheads on gear on gear. When you really think about it, you got two guys on gear and they're talking about gears or cars. Gordon pulls up in his truck. He drives reckless on the city streets in Austin. Brendan Schaub thinks it's dope. Lots of hand slaps, bro slaps, high fives, haircuts that they probably shouldn't have given their age. But man, they're out there doing it. Good on them. I think Gordon's just making a guest spot, but the episodes are live. They're up on Tubi right now. They're free to watch online. Yours truly, Gordon Ryan and Brendan Schaub. I think at the end of each show, they should have like a 4-minute editorial where they discuss their gear stack. Like they talk about their car, like this is my dual Holly cam and my carburetor, and bro, I got this lift kit. And then they talk about like I'm taking Nolvadex, and I'm taking testosterone cypionate, and I'm on BP 3020 Wolverine stack, and I'm taking the Retta, and I'm taking Ozempic and Wegovy. I want to hear that, man. I want to hear that. This is gonna be fantastic. Gordon Ryan, you're on TV. You've made it.
I don't even care if he's on TV. That's good. That's good for the sport. It's just them trying to explain cars sounds so fascinatingly horrible. It sounds like a waste of time. Like Brandon Schaub is somebody who will tell you the Cliff Notes version of Reddit posts.
Right.
Throw them back at you as if he's done the research. So hopefully they have a research team for him. TV shows tend to do that. That's my hope. And Gordon has a proclivity to relating everything back to his jiu-jitsu dominance. So it might be like, oh, there's a carburetor right here, but this carburetor is similar to what I did at Andre Galvo back at ADCC 2024, actually. And you'll notice the way it got his back here is the way I have the back of this car. It's reliable. It will get you from A to B. And actually, if you see it, it's now made by the same gem crystals that are adorned into my ADCC championship belt. Don't need it.
I would like to see what Craig Jones's response is going to be to this, because they're lobbing it up for him. They're giving him a fastball that he could just hit, dude.
I'm glad that you said it's at least a guest appearance. I thought they were actually going to co-host a show together, like it's the American version of Top Gear. And then I got real sad because I thought, no, Top Gear is legendary. This will be exactly an American bastardization. He's doing this with Gordon. I heard about it from Brandon. Oh, fucking course, Gordon is on it. Can't wait to see how cringe this is. I mean, your lips, God's ears. Yep. Brandon's car content is in the gutter, not even getting 10K views per video on his channel. Well, that's a good transition, guys. It's time to talk numbers, because guess what? The good folks over at the Gossip Rag, BJJ Docs, have decided to analyze the numbers, and they pose the question, does jiu-jitsu have a marketing problem? Amongst their analysis, they have gone through different shows. Even my post show is included in this analysis, which begs the question, wait, what? And in doing so, it's an interesting look at all the elements of jiu-jitsu, with just really the core question being, how come not bigger? So, Tim, what are your initial thoughts of first the concept and second the analysis provided?
Well, I mean, I think the concept is something we've kicked around a bunch of times. We've talked about jiu-jitsu promotions needing to kind of find their voice and tell the stories the right way. And the pendulum kind of swings, and you often hear the jiu-jitsu promoters go, it's got to be like pro wrestling. And you know, it's like, yes, but no, not exactly that. It can't be exactly that. And we see kind of guys do it right here and there, and then people get it wrong. Nobody's quite mastered it. Craig Jones seems to be able to pull it off on the one event per year kind of thing, but to do it month in and month out, that's a different story. And I do think that the article's author, John Davis, he does have a point, right? He makes a valid point. The analysis, though, is like, okay, you're analyzing numbers, and you're making a lot of broad assumptions about what those numbers should be. like the UFC should have bigger numbers for UFC BJJ because they have so many resources. But some of it's uncharted. We really don't exactly know, and we constantly throw jujitsu up against other pro sports, and it's just not there, man. It's just not there. And I also don't think the numbers are directly indicative of the value in the future or the kind of innovative ideas that are coming out of some of these organizations, specifically the PGF, to be honest with you. And when I saw your picture on that article, I was like, oh, snap. I thought immediately, I'm like, I bet as soon as this article got posted, RAF, like a dog with an amazing nose, he smelled that thing go online. He just stirred out of bed. He's like, my soul has been awoken. I need to go check the numbers. But yeah, I mean, valid point, not super strong analysis in my opinion.
So I guess the issue is this. It's not just what the numbers perform on there. There's always video on demand, but they have this internet tool that they were looking at the YouTube performance of things. I would wonder what the online performance on their socials is. And that's not dissimilar from what, say, the late night shows do, where maybe they only have a few 100,000 tuning in. The real question is, what's the 18 to 34? What's the 18 to 49? There's like demographic questions. And for us, I think what's interesting is starting from the post show, that's the only thing I can really speak of that I know for sure about, is like, dude, it's a growing concept. There's no other element for a post show that exists in jiu-jitsu. Why? Because we started them. And we make it such an element where it's part of the presentation of what does the athlete want to talk about? How do we talk to the athlete? How do we get the responses? So yeah, Sports Center isn't always going to have the same numbers as the Super Bowl. But I think part of the idea is we're starting that trek and our clips don't do bad. So I guess the real question is, how do we make it work? So if I'm looking at an analysis like this, I think it's more a better question to not just say what it is, but maybe present ideas on how we can better improve the arm of grappling. I think that's the trick that nobody has the solution for. But in terms of PGF, numbers have been through the roof. It streams to multiple destinations. I think they do an excellent job. And then even for the UFC, they start with a huge advantage with UFC BJJ. But again, there's a lot of stuff that we don't know. So every time we look at those numbers, we're like, yeah, it's definitely not 3 million. But they do have like 70 million people who subscribe to their YouTube channel. And now they've siphoned it off to its own thing to exist. So we're beginning to see, man, this is the infancy of BJJ, the broadcast years, where people have a vested interest in what numbers are. And I pose it, most people don't even know what a good number is. So let me see this. It says, get your back up off the wall. I'm not quite sure what that means. It's normally a dance thing. But
yeah, right. If you really, really want to dance.
It says everything needs to be categorized correctly. If not, then the analysis isn't going to be very clear. I think they just wanted to bring it to everybody's attention that these are the numbers they do, which we've done too. So we're in the same thing. And yes, Brian, yes, stand your ground. Our clip guy, Brian, is coming in and being like, you're goddamn right, the clips do well. Brian does a great job. So good job on that. Yeah, I agree. The PGF is growing its community and will continue growing. I mean, it's a very active community. I think the PGF is doing good building its athletes. So I'm interested. I like the athletes and I want to tune in to see if they will win. That's what we're enjoying here. Really appreciate that. But yeah, man, we hope we can build those numbers. I think we're going to continue to do it. But you know what they didn't do? They didn't look in the past when just the solo broadcast for us did even bigger numbers than that. So I think it's on us to continue doing big numbers and really push things forward. But I have to be honest, it's like 5 hours of content and in East Coast time, that's a hard time slot to fill. But I know the right thing to do is to get people the opportunity to see the athletes and get to know them better and ask them the questions that they want to hear. So thank you for your support. And we love it. And it says, great, good stuff. Tim, we're going to now get to our low light highlight of the week. What can you tell us about this week's fight of the week, sir?
So, man, this comes to us from the very historical and long time genre of fights at a concert. And this is specific. I'm assuming this is like a Mexican artist or Latin artist. I don't know if the event is in the United States or in Mexico, but it falls into that category. And, the danger in those concerts is that, the music makes you feel a certain way and it's got a certain deep sound. And if the alcohol doesn't hit you right, like it gets on the wrong nerve, testing, and then, once it's blasting now, buddy, it's playing loud.
Sorry, bud, I'm trying to put it over. You can hear it on your side?
Oh, very loud. There you go.
That's very weird because I have it in preview mode, so I don't know why it's playing when it's in preview mode, but go on.
So it's a fight where pops off, and then I love it because at a certain point the guy's just like, dude, I already broke a sweat. I'm maxing out. Like, I'm gonna fight everyone. So you'll like it. And again, my biggest tip to you is if you're gonna fight at a sports stadium or a concert hall, you better have the high ground. Never fight somebody that's standing on the row behind you because you're gonna get cracked, man.
Fair enough. All right, let's go ahead and cut to that clip right now, sir. Taking it on over that way and walk us through this, sir. Here we go.
Chancho over here, he's upset that Hombre borrowed his stretchy pants for the Vicente Fox concert. And they're starting to get after it. You can see he's throwing blows. White shirt guy is getting heavy and hard. We missed I think the kick came a few seconds ago where it literally didn't register. It's like he had dial-up internet and it took a second to download. Now, dude that started the fight, he's getting ragdolled, but he's literally fighting everybody. And now he's like, I'm going to walk over here and see what's up. Gets in the face of dude, starts scrapping over here, can't make up his mind. And I think he even takes a slap. Like, get that out of my face. He takes a slap at the hand of the lady. I'm trying to speculate on what she was holding. Can we run this back through one more time? Yeah,
give me a second. I'm going to take you back to her. So she's putting her hand out there, but I think it's a different woman. That is, he comes over. Oh, he really just swats away her hand.
He's like, get that hand out of my face.
Good Lord. All right. Let me take a stab at this one.
Hit this.
All right. First and foremost, we start with a very, very strong overhand right that knocks homeboy down into another section. Now, this dude literally throws his hand up and goes, I don't want to be a part of this. But cowboy hat behind him wants to go ahead and separate them. As they start to get back up, he gets a kick in there. And then he says, you know what? I was going to walk away, but since you invited this, meet George Washington, and Thomas Jefferson's right here backing him up here. Although, wait, I should do the Mexican equivalents. Let's keep going.
Yeah.
As this happens. Now, this is when you know you've truly got a street fight, is when they just do overhand hammer fists. They don't know how to throw a punch. It's literally like comic book villain, kind of like, wham, wham. There we go. And he has one over for the dude in the white shirt on the side as well. So he's giving him the business. The white shirt was doing a good job, but then just gets Thanos pushed onto the side. He's taking some damage, but I think he's blocking pretty well. I want to bring to your attention up to the top, dude with the unbuttoned nice dress shirt is making his way down to try and block things up. Now, I don't know what this is, but he's definitely trying to push his head down. So as that happens, as he pushes the head down, homegirl's getting in a few strikes of her own, and I have to give her props because she wants to get involved. And she's basically, man, is he going to RKO her? Is this 20,000s Randy Orton giving RKOs to everybody, man or woman alive? And like, oh my God, she gets ragged. I didn't see that the first time. Oh my God. No, you can't do that. That's terrible. Oh my, and the way she flew, that's awful.
Over those 3 or 4 rows, man.
I want to point this out. You have this one dude who has his hand around another dude as if to protect him. And it looks like him saying like, no, papi, no, he don't want this. No, papi, please, please, no, papi. And guess what? Right hand for you into the face. Does not care. Comes on over and she comes in to say, I think you've had enough, sir. Stop it. Stop it. And then guess what he does? He's going to swat her hand away, but she took it like a champ. So A+ everybody here. This fight had a lot of reactions from our fans. And this is a important, I guess, distinction. Vicente Fox used to be the president of Mexico. Vicente Fernandez is the music artist, but he's dead now.
Yeah.
So
you got me.
Listen, Tim.
I am married to a Mexican. I'm an honorary Mexican. I didn't actually go to college.
Can't do that.
I didn't go to Mexico college.
Allow me to explain the significance of this. You can talk about Vicente Fox all you want, but if you fuck with Vicente Fernandez, the Mexican community will have words. He is on a level of Selena and Eddie Guerrero. You better be ready to get into a fight like this if you have words for him, because grown men cry as they sing his songs. So I want to make sure it's very, very important. And it says how many people are involved? Like 10, at least by my count. So, and then 3 rows was the response. Yeah, I think she flew 3 rows, dude.
3-row knockdown. This is bigger than the PGF, actually. The PGF has the couches. You can get couch locked. You could actually earn points in an arena fight for knocking a dude down multiple rows.
I want to point out here that this is the first time that nobody's ever commented, wouldn't happen in a pit. If y'all had a pit, you wouldn't have stuff like this going down there. This is, I used to listen to Vicente Fernandez. There's no used to, sir. You mean present tense. I still listen
I'm a Vicente Fernandez Jr. guy. Pops is okay, but I really dig Junior.
My man's the person that just goes, yeah, I love Ted Williams the first, but really, it's all about the second. Well, Tim, we've reached the end of the road here. Tell the people where they can find you, sir.
You can catch me on Inside BJJ on your favorite social media platform. If you're out in Nashville, come see us at 10th Planet Nashville. And if you're out in Stockton for court, a funeral, or some other legal proceeding, go see my homies at 10th Planet Stockton. RAF, it was great to see you. Great work this week on week 4. I know week 4, sometimes it's like the grinder after the grinder, but you're doing fantastic. I can't wait to see you next week. We'll be in studio together. The Wonder Twins, we're going to reunite. And then I'll be back week 6, man. So it's going to be a great run, dude.
Likewise, man. Nothing made me happier than knowing my good friend Tim is going to be out there handling the mics with me. And guess what, guys? Now you can see him in person, because I heard some of y'all had feelings about his predictions. Womp, womp. But guess what? Just remember, guys, we want good action. We want you to have great moments. However, these are just predictions. You can always beat them by actually winning. And that's fun too. But I think you like when we talk nicely about you too, don't you? So, Tim, I'll let you get on out of here. I'll close things up. I will see you next week, sir. And I am super stoked to see you very, very soon. But for right now, folks, let's get through some details. First and foremost, if you like the show, like, comment, and subscribe. Some of you have commented. I like that. But the question is, did you press the like button? If you haven't, it's kind of like stealing. It's a free show. But it's kind of like stealing in that you didn't pay for it. It's free. So like a like would be cool. It's not required. It's not like a bathroom attendant you didn't tip. Like, hey, man, we were here for about an hour plus. We gave you good content. Hey, that fight alone should get a like at the very least. So like, comment, subscribe wherever you are. You can also catch me on Patreon. It is Grappling Hour on Patreon. You see my interviews 30 days before anybody else. And for a few extra dollars, you see extra bonus content not available anywhere else, including tape studies with the athletes, roast RAF where people roast my competition footage, extra interviews, extra content. That's where the good stuff lies. So really means a lot to me if you head on over to patreon.com/grappling hour. You can also get some Grappling Hour merch at rafesparza.com/merch. There's a lot of stuff you guys can do. But what I'm really excited about is this Wednesday in studio at the secret undisclosed location, Tim Freeman, RAF ESPARZA reunited, and it's going to be a great show. We got a lot of friends that are going to be going out there putting on the finale of the season for you, and then a week later, it's the playoffs. So, ladies and gents, just 2 more weeks of PGF, and who knows when we return? Because I'm hearing things, and I'm not quite sure. And that schedule is always in quotation marks because we never know. I want to ask this to our group. Which was the better fight? This Mexican concert fight or Rodman versus Shot Clock? Well, this fight had more hands thrown. Shot Clock was that I don't want to see that fight. Let's just put it that way. I feel like that's the right way to say that one. I don't want to see that fight. Not for anybody's mental or physical health. But nonetheless, a very fun time. Ladies and gents, that's going to do it for us here at the Grappling Hour. It's going to do it here for us at Inside BJJ. It's going to do it here for us at the Bullpen. We thank you for spending a little time with us. But in the meantime, it's been a great day for grappling. We'll see you back on the mats.